Olive! Olive! Come on, we're doing the video now. Olive! Has anybody seen Olive? Yeah, you can't keep doing that to the people that deliver our packages. There's not going to be anybody left to bring us any books. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us here today at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave, this is Olive, and we like to have a little fun while we talk about the books we've read recently to help spread the joy of reading. So today we are doing a review of this new release, American Cannibal. This is published by Maened Press, and it's edited by Rebecca Rowland with a foreword by James Rathwright, who has wrote one of the most disturbing books that we've ever read, The Resurrectionist, which gives you a little glimpse into what this book is like. So Rebecca Rowland is one of the co-owners of Maened Press, and she's an author herself. She's written several books, done several anthologies, and you can find her at RebeccaRowland.com. We'll put the link below. So, what this book is released. This video should be going up on release day, which is March 7th. So you'll be able to go, as soon as you're done watching this video, you can go purchase yourself a copy, which you should definitely do. So every time that we give a positive review of a book, I feel like I got to do this little qualifying thing in the beginning, which is that we are really honest here. We don't just do positive reviews, and we don't make exceptions for small press or indie writers. That's the point of book reviews, in our opinion, good or bad, right? That's what people want to know about the book. So with that said, we can give our honest opinion that this book was excellent. This book was, I'll show you give you a close-up of the cover so you can get a good idea of what that looks like. As you can see, the cover alone is enough to give you the creeps before you've even opened it up. And now I'm also going to give you a glimpse of the back of the book here so that you can see who all the authors are. I'm not going to name them all because there's 20 of them. There's 20 stories, 20 authors. But I'll show you this so you can pause the video if you want to see who's in it. If you're used to horror, a lot of these names should be familiar to you. So this book was really phenomenal. We haven't read it. We got off to a slow start this year, so we haven't read a ton of books. But of the ones that we've read so far, this is at the top. This is one of the top ones we've read so far this year. I would not expect to be saying that about a book that clearly is about cannibalism. But this book was really, really good. And for several reasons. There's a couple things I want to say about it. The first thing is the uniqueness of this book. This book is totally original. What this book is about is it's as you can tell from the cover, American Cannibalism. These stories take 20 different shots of American history and gives them a little slice of cannibalism to the story. Most of them are actual specific events. Like it starts off right in the beginning. It starts off with a bang with the famous settlement Roanoke colony. But it goes into there's a bunch of different historical events that these stories are based on. You know, the JFK assassination, the Oregon Trail, the Challenger explosion, women's suffrage, prohibition, Y2K, all sorts of stuff. And most of them are particular events. But a few of them are just like the women's suffrage. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much a particular event. But some of these are just dealing with kind of the era, but most of them are actually specific historical events famous historical events that happened. But I'm not exaggerating when I say this, that every single one of these stories was good. I did not dislike a single story in this. And you know, Olive and I would tell you if we did, but not in this case. And there were different types of stories. Most of them were, you know, a little disturbing and made you uncomfortable. But there were like some different types that got you to different degrees. So I almost don't want to name specific stories, like call certain ones out, just because they were all good. All 20 of them were good. These authors did a great job. But just to give you a little flavor of how some of the stuff was changed, a few of these were like, where was the one that was, The Hungry Wives of Bleak Street by Gwendolyn Keast. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that story is one of those. It's a very rare story, and we read a bit of horror, and it's the very rare story that makes me physically uncomfortable, like that makes me squirm in my seat so that I actually have to shift around, like just to keep reading because I'm so uncomfortable reading. That doesn't happen very often, and with that story, that happened. The Hungry Wives of Bleak Street. There was another one. Tender Farm by C.V. Hunt, that was one of those stories you read it and you're like, oh my god, like you just like, it was so disturbing what was happening in that story, like just like the worst of the worst, and you're like, whoa. It was pretty intense. And then like the last story, Y2K Feast by Jeff Strand, that one was like a comical one, and like that actually had me giggling, you know. It was pretty funny. So there's a nice little sampling of different stuff, but at its core, it's all about this cannibalism. And I just thought that was such a unique idea for Rebecca Rowland to put together an anthology like that, of taking real historical events and giving it this little twist of cannibalism behind it. And most of it is just like actually flesh-eating cannibalism, but there's some of these stories are a little more subtle, where like the flesh-eating cannibalism is almost just like, it's like a token cannibalism in there, but there's some elements of, you know, other types of human on human cannibalism that's not necessarily of the flesh-eating kind. So it was really good, and we really enjoyed every single story that was in this. That's the God's honest truth. The second thing I will say about it is that this was so well written, which you would expect, I guess, from this collection of authors that you see on the back there. But it was, I mean, all the stories, the writing was flawless. It was such, and I guess Rowland did a good job of selecting the authors that she wanted to include in this collection. But it was just really, really high quality writing. And, you know, a lot of times with these indie or small press things, you find a lot of errors throughout the thing. There was none of that, you know, like this book was put together perfectly, and it was such a pleasure to read. And so, yeah, I mean, just a super high quality book all around. And I would not expect, just before going into it, I would not expect to be doing a review saying that about a book where all the stories are based on cannibalism. But the authors and Rebecca Rowland just did a really good job writing these stories and putting this collection together. I mean, this was a really great story. A really great book that I would highly recommend if you're at all into this sort of thing. Now, like I said, it is certain stories are a little bit intense, so you have to be okay with that. You have to like horror and be okay with a little bit of intense stuff. But if you are, I would highly recommend this. Like I said, it's out today. So when you're done watching this video, I would go out and get yourself a copy right now and start spreading the word about this thing, because this was pretty awesome. I had a lot of fun with this. Okay, so I guess that about sums it up. So if you like the video, as always, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you get notified the next time Olive says, whoops, sorry, the next time Olive says it's okay for us to upload another video. Leave us a comment if you're thinking about getting this book or after you read it. Curious to see what other people think. And if you don't leave anything substantive, you can leave Olive a puppy emoji. She always likes to see those. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you very soon. We have a lot of stuff coming up. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.